Welcome to the Urban Cowgirl Show. Well, today, in the beginning of this part of the weekend Urban Cutter and Roper, we are asking Semi on a very short run, only half the run, to follow a moving object that's going to move very slowly, and it's right there on our cow simulator. It's just a little doll that we hang up when we want to give her a moving object to follow. It doesn't have to be a cow, doesn't even have to look like anything. It can be just a towel, a flag as it's called. We are doing very slow movements today, and notice that we have on Semi's pencil boselle and a snaffle bit and a rope halter. The rope halter is just conveniently there for leading her around afterwards. The snaffle bit is on because before we turn the camera on, we tried to do some very light work with her with the pencil boselle, and she was giving us resistance. And rather than pulling on her nose with the boselle, we went back to the snaffle bit, which works on the corners of her mouth. We're going to try to then work with the snaffle, then with the pencil boselle, and then pick up the snaffle when we need to, and then eventually leave the pencil boselle, the piece of metal, out of her mouth. What we're trying to do is get her to be able to neck rein with the feeling of the rein on her neck. You can, with a boselle, do a little bit of direct reining, but not a whole lot. We're trying to get her to neck rein. We're trying to get her to work off our body balance and, when necessary, our legs. Now, I have my spurs on, and I'm going to ask my cameraman to zoom in on them. If I use my spurs, I'm going to turn my toe out and kind of tickle her with them. But let me tell you that I'm having some leg pain that's probably due to a disc problem, and I'm having it investigated medically. But I hope not to have to squeeze with my thighs. That is another way to communicate with your horse. Squeeze with your thighs, squeeze with your calves. I'm hoping that I can just explain to Semi, and that she'll remember from past training, that her job is to work over her haunches and follow the moving object, which today will only go about halfway up the arena and back. And see that we have the arena cut in half with our portable panels right now. As we get better, we'll lengthen the run, we'll speed up the moving object. We'll ask Semi not only to walk and trot, but to canter along with the moving object. But not today. Today, she's facing the moving object right now. I've got the snaffle bit reins in my hand. I'm going to ask Katie to move, maybe 1 or 2 lengths of rail. I'm going to see what Semi does. I'm watching the moving object. Go ahead. She moved forward. Semi, move. Go. One right stop, because she's not rowing even with the snaffle. She moved forward. She moved with the moving object, but she leaped toward the moving object. And that's not what she is allowed to do when we're doing cow work, unless we're running and raiding along a straight line. I'm going to set up again here. Whoa. This time, I'm facing the west. I'm a little bit far away from the cow. Next time, or the moving object, I'm going to try to be slower. And then you come back, Katie, and I'm going to step back. No, I'm not going to step back. She wasn't stepping back. We're really just trying to, this is a pretest. We're trying to figure out what we need to work on with Semi to get her back to being agile with cow work. It's been probably a year since we've done it. Whoa. Okay, now this time I'm not going completely parallel. I'm going like a 45-degree angle. And wait till I step back and then move it. Looking over her ears. Look at that. Nah. Okay, now around. Off. Open the door. Whoop! Open the door with my left leg. Kind of closed the door, didn't squeeze, just laid my leg on her right ribs. we'll get the message. It's going to be in tiny baby steps though. Now again, I'm going to step back, try to keep her head, yeah, vertical flexion. She can do it. She has done it in the past so well. She's just kind of confused now, out of practice. Look over her ears. Sit deep in my saddle on my pockets. Go. Much better. Whoop. Soft. That was soft. She was in good form. Okay, we'll do it again. And Katie, you just kind of watch to see. If we've got it, then go with it. First, I need to get that flexion or vertical flexion good. I need to sit on my pockets backwards and then over. Open the door on the left. Close the door on the right. Whoa! Yes. And I didn't even have to use the reins. I used my verbal command. But she saw, she was watching that moving object. She said, when that thing stops moving, I better stop moving. You can see how this is going to become more and more challenging for both her and the rider as we pick up speed. But it's a lot of fun. It takes a lot of athleticism, but it is the kind of thing that we like to do here on our ranch, Versatile Ranch. Both our Morgan horses and our mini cows are trained here to help us maintain this ranch. And one of the things a horse has to do on a ranch is be able to work a cow. Sitting on my pockets. Little tap, okay? A little tap, good. Oh, much better, Sam. Whoa. Okay, back. Now she's getting the idea. I'm not going to hesitate as long. Whoa. Back. Look over my shoulder, over to the right, over her shoulder. Good. Whoa. Back. Looking at the moving object. Just very lightly tapping her. Oh, with the rein that's on the snaffle bit. Making sure that the neck rein is laying against her neck. Those, the snaffle bit reins will eventually be gone. We'll be doing it only with the Bosal reins. She's getting a little bit close. We don't want to be any closer than about 8 foot. We're at about 10 foot now, so it's still okay. Sit on my pockets. She started going forward, so I pull back, keeping her back. Whoa. Back. Open on the left, close on the right. Whoa. Good. Whoa. Now this time stop it about halfway, Katie. Back. Whoa. You see, we don't want her to have predictable patterns because cows don't move in predictable patterns. We want her to watch the moving object. Gonna let her think about it, let her get into frame. Now when I ask her to back, I sit on my pockets and I pull my feet away. Pull them away and then touch her sides. Pull them away and then touch her sides. And eventually, you know, I want my hands to be up here. And if they're up here, I want her to realize that I'm doing that for my reasons and that her head is not to come up. And those are things that we mentioned at the end of our last film about this topic, that Chris Cox said, be able to work your horse with your reins up here without them throwing their head up. Squeezing a little bit. Back, back. One rein, okay. Back. Open on the right, close on the left. Whoa. Back. Over, look over, look over. Neck rein on the right. Whoa. Back. Beautiful. Whoa. Back. stuff. There. Whoa. Ah, she overran. She thought we were going to go all the way. So I'm going to first get shape. A little give and take. Sit on my pockets. Okay, you can go. Beautiful. Back. All the way this time. Whoa. Now she's watching. I can actually watch her eyeballs, watch the direction of her head. I can tell when she's looking and thinking and doing what she has learned to do in the past, but it's been a long time. And don't we always forget what we haven't done in a long time? So that's what we're going to do with Semi. We're going to very slowly get her back into cutting with our cow simulators, rating with our mini cows, and then the most fun activity of all, penning our mini cows into a pen here in this arena with Semi and a turnback horse. Probably the turnback horse will be Sadie. That's my youngest Morgan mare, but she needs a lot of work too. So this is going to be a multi-part series about weekend cutting and roping in an urban setting, because we're not rural here. We're a little bit rural. We try to be rural. We love to be rural, but we live right on the border of a city, so we have to make do with smaller property and cow simulators and small cows. And that's all for today. Sonia Sokol, the Urban Cowgirl. Well, now Katie's gonna try it. And we've got my cameraman, Kyle. He's gonna run the exercycle. He watched Katie do it, so he knows what speed to go at and so forth. The exercycle has been sitting for months, so we're gonna have to oil it to make it easier to move the pedals. But for now, just to give Katie a feel, Kyle's gonna move it at Katie's instruction after you step back, Katie, just like I did, trying not to use your reins, using your body, your spurs if you need it, but we're not moving fast enough to really concern ourselves with the spurs. So let's see, Semi's almost asleep. Let's see if you can keep her from leaking. First get that vertical flexion. You kind of squeeze. See, she's gonna pull like that until she realizes that's not acceptable. So we did a one rein stop. I'll back her up again. Try to get that vertical flexion before you ask for a back. Okay. Okay, and now when Katie steps a step back, if it looks like she's got Semi following, go ahead and move it. Yes, that was completely over her haunches. Okay, and it's at your speed. Okay, Kyle, come back. Okay, Semi's licking her lips. She's okay on it. So try to get that vertical flexion, ask for the back. Use your reins as little as possible. Make sure she works. Good. She worked over her haunches nicely. Now let's do some random runs. It's up to you how long you want her to stand there, Katie, and it's up to you, Kyle, to make it a short or a long run. The point is, Semi's supposed to be watching. She was coming forward. Could you tell that, Katie?
I felt that,
yeah. It's that leaking forward has to be corrected. It's a misunderstanding. Can never keep up with a cow if you're leaking towards it. Good? 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 Much better. Let's do a few good ones where we get that collection and around the haunches. She sure is spinning around those haunches now. That cow simulator is going to move more smoothly once we oil it. Look over her ears. Look where you want to go. Over your shoulder. Good, good, good. But try to get that vertical flexion before she goes back around. With just a tug, give and take, give and take. There, as soon as she gives it to you, you remove the pressure. Oh, beautiful. Okay. Yes. And Katie has no leg problems like I do. She's going to be able to move much faster with Semi, as Semi understands, and as we make the run longer by just using the entire length of the cable by removing the barriers that we have that cuts the arena in half. If you see that Katie's having trouble, Kyle, you stop it. That's what's so great about a training device like this. You can't stop a cow, but you can stop the cow simulator so that you can work as a rider on correcting the misunderstanding. Good, good. That was a nice short run. Semi seemed to stop by herself. Over the haunches, good. Do you see, Katie, that we're eventually going to want to be able to keep those reins in the box in front of the horn, but higher, like Chris Cox says, without Semi throwing her head up. A little bit more energy coming out of Sam. Good. Good. Nice. Nice. When you feel that you're soft with her, you can call for a quit. We'll keep practicing at this speed and then we'll move up to a trot. But I think we'll run the whole length of the cable when we trot. Ah, that was a surprise. See, she thought you were going to come back, Semi did. And so she has to know that sometimes the cow looked like it's going to come back, but it doesn't. It's trying to get away from the horse. Good. She sure knows that over the haunches thing. Beautiful. Good. She's distracted by somebody on the other fence in a truck. She's not supposed to do that. She's supposed to give us her confidence and respect and focus. A ranch horse has to deal with all kinds of critters and distractions. And they have to understand what is the job that they're being asked to do. Whoops, whoops, a little misunderstanding there. But good, you stayed good over her haunches. And Kyle, if you bring the moving object too close to that, the end of the line, it will bounce off. So try not to go quite that close. So stay a couple feet away. You got to know the limitations of your mechanics, your simulator. Good. She was thinking about leaking forward. Either she changed her mind or you helped her to know. Katie had to help her. Now you know by watching cutting exhibitions and competitions that once the horse takes hold of the cow and tries to work the cow and keep it from the herd, the rider is not allowed to pick up the reins again. So, but this is training. We have to. Yes. Good. Good. And once Semi knows that the spurs are on, yeah, no, I see you're using them, huh? Right. We don't jab them, we just tickle them. Good. And that's going to wake her up. She's going to say, whoops, I better pay attention. Yes. Yes. We're actually getting that hop around now because she's getting real enthusiastic. But we do want her front end to stay down. We don't want it hopping around, but we don't want to squelch enthusiasm at this point in our training, so we're allowing it. Try to keep that head down all the way around. You can see she's throwing it up halfway around. That's because she's hopping, you know, it's coming along with the hop. Horses like to do jobs if they know what the job is. Katie, just to finish off today so we know what we're in for, put the snaffle reins down and see what we're in for if you pick up the Boselle reins, doing everything else the same, if you can. Whether she feels the snaffle rein on her neck as a neck rein or the Boselle reins, it shouldn't make any difference. But she may understand that Katie has switched things, and that she has those other Boselle reins on. She may not respond, and we want to know about that. We need to know what the prerequisite skills are and aren't. Much better than she was when we first started. Yeah, it helped to use that snaffle. Yes, beautiful. In some respects, she's doing it even better than with the snaffle, but that hop and the head up, we've got to work on that by maybe anticipating that she's gonna bring her head up and bump her down before she does. Or if she does bring her head up, then we have to abort the move and work on it. Apply pressure in such a way that she says, uh-oh, I better not do that because that causes pressure. And I don't like pressure, I'm a horse. Good, good. I think we're doing as well with the Boselle now as with the snaffle. Yeah. I'd say for the next couple times that we ride, we'll use both. Maybe first the snaffle and then more of the time with the Boselle, and then soon be able to leave the snaffle off. So let's find a good stopping point. Good, good. Nice. Nice. Yes. Okay, do you feel this is a good start? You want to do it again?
Yeah, well, she kind of leaked on that one.
Okay, because she leaked a little bit. We'd never like to stop when a wrong answer is being given. That was good. That was good. Yeah. Okay, so usually when we're doing cow work or cow simulator work, we let the horse know that we're done by getting off. We don't ride out of the arena, we walk out of the arena. We give them praise, and we do everything in small steps in the future. This is our next session with Semi. We've been practicing quite a bit before we turn the camera on. We've been using the Boselle a lot, although we have as a backup the snaffle in her mouth. We're working on making sure she understands that when she goes over her haunches, she's supposed to keep her head down. She seems to think she needs to hop and bring her head up. So because we're working with that problem, we're not so much working on neck rein, although she is doing quite well on neck reining. Now, we also are running the whole length of the arena, and she's picking up a trot and sometimes a canter to keep up with the moving object. So let's go ahead and move it, and you go ahead and do your thing. Katie? Right away she went forward instead of back, probably because we were standing here talking, and she lost the pattern, the rhythm. One rein stop to get her back in position without hauling on her reins. Okay, let's see if we can get the message there.
Good.
That was very nice. Is she stopping by herself? Oh, wonderful. Around, 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 yes. A little bit more, 180 if you can. You went about, 120. if you don't go all the way around, then they tend to leak in towards the moving object. And our moving object, as you know from our last session, is just a little doll. It doesn't matter what it is as long as it moves and doesn't scare them. Now make some random moves, like stop 2/3 of the way. Semi has to understand that she's got to follow there. You had to ask her to hoe, but around she's going. Such an improvement. Stop in the middle and random number of minutes or seconds after the stop. Yeah, keep going back. Sometimes stop and then keep coming forward. The idea is she's following this moving object. She's rating. She's keeping it head on head from getting back to the herd, so to speak. Yes. And she's doing much better than she did in last session because she's remembering. She used to do this. We've given her a chance to remember. Whoops! And Katie is using a lot of seat to get that backward step and over the haunches. Good, and we're giving her random patterns here. Oh, I'm very pleased, Katie. You said she picked up a canter all by herself. Let's try to give her a chance to do that. That's why I built this cable cutting machine along the length of the arena so that we'd have room to get a canter going. Yes. Yes. And then haunches stop becomes even more important. Beautiful. Nice. The head's coming up. Yeah. Okay, so when we have some kind of a bad habit like that emerging, we start concentrating on removing the bad habit, explaining what the right answer is, applying pressure until the wrong answer goes away. So now it's not as important for her to trot or canter. We have to go back to explaining to her that her head is going to stay down, not up.
I told Scott if he does see her head go up when I'm turning, to make it a slower run.
Yes.
So she can concentrate.
Right, and that's the whole objective of using these simulators, Scott, because you can't do that with a real cow, as you will see when we bring Sela and Susie in here. So yes, we do a lot of simulator work before we bring in the real cattle. See more at www.urbancowgirlchannel.com.